What's up guys, Garrett with Parts View here. Welcome to our Basics of Boating video series. We're gonna run you through the basics before you get on the water, things you should know, safe passage, all those fun things. We're gonna start with what you do before you start the boat, some quick terminology. Come on, check it out. All right guys, here at the cockpit of the boat, some very important features are here, of course. One, you have your steering wheel, pretty self-explanatory. This is gonna turn your engine, control the passage of the boat. You have your throttle. This is gonna be forward and reverse, and also the speed that your boat's gonna go. Then you have some gauges here. You have a speedometer, just like a car. It's gonna tell you the speed that the boat is traveling at. You have a fuel gauge, that way you can see how much fuel is currently in your boat. A battery gauge. You have your RPM gauge. That's gonna be the RPMs that the engine is running at. That's a very important gauge to keep or to be aware of. You have your trim gauge. That's gonna show what trim the engine is on the back of your boat at currently. You have an accessory panel here with some switches like the bilge pump. It's gonna control whether your bilge pump is on and off. You have nav lights. You have a horn. Then you have a kill switch here that can disengage the engine if someone were to fall out and it was hooked to you. Very important feature. Of course, you have your key for the boat, your on and off. Simply starts the engine. But yeah, that's the basics. That's what you're gonna see at most times at a cockpit on a boat. All right guys, we've gone over the gauges and accessories on the boat. We are now gonna start our outboard. Now remember, if you have an inboard, make sure you turn your blower on and clear out some of those gas fumes for a few minutes before you do. And then the next thing you wanna make sure you're in neutral, of course. Make sure you're trimmed down so your propeller and your intakes are in the water at the time. And then turn the key. Now that the engine is turned on, it's always a good practice, just like it is in your car, to let it run for a few minutes, bring the engine up to temperature before you go underway. In the meantime, I'll put on my life jacket. And if you have friends at your dock or friends with you, of course, it's great if they can untie the boat and stuff. But since I'm doing it by myself, I will swiftly move and pull in the fenders that I have. And then I will get to untying the boat. Let's go over some basic boating terminology. We'll start with the helm. This is the console area where the steering wheel is. You have a lot of your gauges, switches, throttle, stuff like that. Moving to the rear of the boat, you're gonna have your transom. That's where the outboard is going to be connected to the boat on. And then this one's kind of obvious. This is the hull, the area of the boat that is touching the water, keeping you afloat. The bow of the boat refers to the most forward part of the hull or the front of the boat. If the boat has an open bow, you will typically find seating in this area. If the bow is closed, there is most likely a cuddy cabin below the deck. On a bass boat, the bow serves as a fishing platform. The aft or stern of the boat refers to the rear of the boat. Most boats will have seating, a swim platform, a ladder, and an engine located in the stern. When looking forwards at the bow, the port side is the left-hand side of the boat. The red side light will be located on the port side. An easy trick to remember that the port is left is by counting the letters. The words port and left both have 4 letters in them. Now the starboard side of the boat is the right-hand side when looking forwards at the bow. The green side light will be located on the starboard side. Okay, now that we're idling out, this is gonna be the appropriate time to hook up your kill switch. Very important safety feature these boats have. That way, if something ever happened where you were to fall overboard while driving, it would cut off the engine and the boat wouldn't run away from you, possibly hurting you or somebody else out on the water. Now we're gonna get the boat up to speed. This is called getting on plane. First thing you wanna make sure, having the engine trimmed down as far as it can go, and then slowly pushing throttle into the boat to add speed. Now during this process, the hull is gonna lift up, you're gonna catch air under it, and the boat's gonna start moving at a higher rate of speed. You can start to feel that lift is starting to get under the hull here. We're gonna keep pushing it a little more, where we feel the nose move a little bit, and then we're gonna watch our RPM gauge throughout this process. A good cruising speed on most engines is around 3,500 to 4,000 RPMs. Now that the boat has gone up, you can add some trim if you'd like to maximize your fuel efficiency. And now we are at cruising speed. Okay, to bring your boat down off plane, the biggest thing is to do it in control. These aren't cars, they don't have brakes. You just don't want to throw the boat to reverse. You want to make sure you're clear in front of you, you have plenty of space, and slowly come back on your throttle. Make sure you're always staying in control, hand on the steering wheel. If you come down too quickly, that's how a lot of accidents can happen. The boat can spin out. You want to make sure you're doing this process slowly, and you're always in control. All right, guys, we've gone over some things to know about the boat before you start, how to start it, how to take off from the dock, idle out, make sure you're hooked up, and then getting the boat on plane. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to Parts View and watch out for the next one.